Okay, so this is Boston. And this is some kind of church here. Okay, so see there's a fountain here. I'm not sure what it is for, but there's two little columns there, obelisks, I believe they may be called, but I'm not sure. And then over here, there's a couple weird sculptures. One is of a turtle, and the other is of a hare. Pretty neat. So I've come across sort of a farmer's market type thing. There's people buying stuff. Buying produce. Very cool. This is the Boston, this is the Boston Library. Has a lot of books in it. And across from it is there's a large church. Pretty cool. I think that's a hotel. And then we have this place, also pretty old. It says Copley Plaza on it. And that might be the Prudential building. This green one right here. I don't know. I'll be continuing the tour. So we're gonna continue on to the Freedom Trail. As you can see, I'm at a place called Copley Plaza or Square, and I'm not really sure where the Freedom Trail starts from here, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So that's where we're headed. Okay. So as you can see, I'm outside of what I thought was the Prudential building, but in fact it just looks like that other building that you see on the posters, and it's not that building. It does have a very nice entranceway, so I'll continue my self-guided tour. There you can see the John Hancock building in Boston. And there's a John Hancock building in lots of cities, and this one is here in Boston. Cool. Okay, so I think what you're seeing now is the Prudential building in the distance. I thought it was this one. It still could be this one, I'm not sure. I just don't know, but I think it's that other bluish one. Anyway, it's like a Boston doorman over there. Lots of old money in this city. This must be a relatively wealthy area. While I'm waiting for the traffic to change, I found the Liberty Mutual building. It's that one. It's pretty large. I bet that's on the postcards. This is an interesting sign. It says, "Tow zone emergency artery during snow emergency." I don't know what a snow emergency is myself, but I guess you'll get towed if somebody thinks the snow is an emergency. Across the street there, you can see what looks to be like some sort of old prison that's now maybe some sort of shopping center. Smith and Walensky. Sounds like a law firm, so maybe it's a law firm actually. I wouldn't want to work in a law firm that's inside a prison, that's for sure. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so what you're seeing here It's a classic Boston intersection. There's many different directions you can head in at this intersection. 1, 2, 3, 4, behind that car, 5, 6. And it's pretty typical in Boston from what I've seen. None of the roads go in a straight line. So I'm trying to find the Freedom Trail, but I'm gonna take a wild guess on which way to go. So we'll see if that works out. This place has a Historic Hotels of America plaque, and this says Chain des Rotisseurs 1246 to 1950. So I guess that's no longer valid, this plate. But it is a Historic Hotel of America. I'm not sure which one it is, but it does look pretty sleek and modern. It is the Boston Park Plaza, which was established in 1927. So, there you have it. Here's another lovely example of a Boston intersection. This one you can see goes that way, and then there's cars coming from that way, and maybe from that way. There's some ways to go, and then there's that way. So I don't know exactly which way to go to get to the Freedom Trail, but I was told it was by Park Street, and this looks like to me to be Park Plaza, so hopefully I'm on the right track. Here you have it, a nice looking Boston drain. Only in Boston. Well, I've just confirmed and come across what I believe to be Boston Common, established in 1634. It's a place where people hang out. It's otherwise known as a large park. And I think there were people buried here somewhere. You can see people play baseball too. And so yeah, I just walked in from Park Plaza, and we'll continue to try and find the Freedom Trail. Squirrel. As you can see here, there's a really old cemetery, and it's being guarded by a moat to keep people away from the dead bodies. If you were wondering where Lemuel A. Coolidge was buried, it's right there. Well, as you can see, even in their parks, Boston likes to have strange intersections. I still have not found the Freedom Trail, but I did find a gazebo. So, sort of in the middle of this park, there's a pretty large gazebo thing. And up there, looks like there's another statue. There's somebody on top of it. Pretty cool. Well, it is some kind of memorial, but it has been blocked off for construction. It's pretty nice up here. Would have had a nice view. Anyway, I'll continue my self-guided tour. Okay, so I found the Freedom Trail. It's this brick thing. I don't know where it starts, but I came across it and just walked up this hill, and you can see up there the Capitol has a big gold dome on top of it, and so yeah, it's pretty nice. And I keep going on the Freedom Trail now, the old historic Freedom Trail, I guess. So this Liberty Mall was dedicated on October 27th to soldiers and sailors in the Great War, which there's been 2 of those, so I have to guess that they mean World War I. So you can see the Capitol up there. There's a couple of flags in front of it, some statues. Pretty standard Capitol, I'd say. Gold dome, not unusual. And then here we have some kind of a statue of a man riding a horse. The Freedom Trail. Stickers. I'm just waiting because, as you can see, the Freedom Trail crosses and then heads that way. And I don't have the light right now. Well, that was kind of a bust. The Freedom Trail just crossed and then, as you can see, hits this thing and then goes at that stairway and then it just stops. So I'm gonna keep going, but I don't know how I'm supposed to follow this trail if it doesn't go anywhere. So yeah, what am I supposed to do here? There's a pretty large statue of a horse. It says Hooker. Hooker the horse. I'm glad that they put a horse statue up. Oh wait. It does look like somebody's riding the horse. Yeah, that appears to be somebody named Hooker on a horse. I'm very disappointed. This is an old building. It's at 10.5, which is kind of a strange number for a building. This street is actually pretty narrow, so I'm guessing this might be where Boston started, right here at 10.5. Or maybe there's a 1 coming up, I'm not sure. Just saw these old sculptures inside the building. It'd be nice if they were out here so we could all look at them. Or even if they were just facing outward so we could see who they are. I don't know. You can see a painting there. And another back of the head sculpture. That's a little rude, I think. So this is 8, and we just came from 10.5. But then over there is 11. I don't know how that's working. And then XV, you would think would be 15. So this numbering system is all wrong. Well, I am losing daylight, but I did want to walk the Freedom Trail. I've also lost the Freedom Trail, so I'm doing my best here. As you can see, it's getting pretty dark. But I'm going to continue this self-guided tour. And there is 1, so that must be the first place that they numbered in Boston. Number 1. It's a pretty large building, actually. But old and kind of boring. We'll continue. And across from 1 is a king's chapel. I'm guessing a king went to this chapel in the old days. You can see it's closed though, unfortunately. Well, I'm actually very impressed. I did manage to find the Freedom Trail again. I don't know how I did it, but it's here. And now I have to make a choice. This way or that way. This way. Well, I'm gonna try this way. You know, primarily because that's going in a weird downhill. I feel like this has more promise. Goes around the corner. Across the street there, you can see Omni Parker House. like a pretty old hotel and restaurant. They have another doorman. Lots of door people in Boston, I guess. They even have a Dorchester. So unlike by the State House where the Freedom Trail just gives up, I seem to be on the right path. And this looks like old City Hall. They have a nice statue here in front of it of an old sassy looking person. He's got his hand on his hip like he's angry. He doesn't know what you've been up to. Oh, looks like there's a steakhouse inside now. This old City Hall. I just found a sculpture of a donkey. Kind of a, I got excited about the horse sculpture earlier until I found out somebody was riding it. But I am actually quite excited about the donkey. Who could have put it here? Well, I'm just learning now that this donkey was commemorating the Democratic Party, basically. Formed by Andrew Jackson, who wanted the people to rule. And apparently, because his name was Jackson, they all called him Jackass. And there you can see little elephant feet. Size 11s. Okay, let's continue the tour. Well, this is the Old South Meeting House where I'm guessing people met in the South. If you weren't in the North, you would come here to meet. And as you can see, it's the place where Benjamin Franklin was baptized, and Phyllis Wheatley, the first African-American author, was worshipped here back in the day. It's got a big red door. Yeah, they had to fight to preserve it, I guess. Some pretty typical window arrangement for like a little circle up there. I mean, to be honest, I had to wait at that corner while these cars turned so that I could follow the Freedom Trail up there to this old meeting house place, and then now it's coming back this way. Why didn't it, I don't know if that was worth my time. Standing across from Pie Alley. They've spelled pie wrong. And also, it's in front of a Dunkin' Donuts. So I'm guessing they don't even have pie. This is an old building. I'm sure it's on the Freedom Trail, but this door is not on the Freedom Trail. The Freedom Trail continues that way. But I wanted to make sure that you notice this side with the gold eagle. I think that's an eagle. It's also under construction right now, so you can't see much of this old building. Well, this is the old State House, another one. I think we already passed a State House and an old State House, so this is the third one on the tour. But it's very under construction. You can barely see underneath its green skirt thing, fabric. Well, it is completely dark now, but I am going to continue this tour because I haven't seen that much interesting stuff in Boston, and frankly I don't want to do this again. Look at this building. There's some strange lights on it, but it is also built like a fortress. I don't know what they're trying to pretty up there. It still looks like a fortress to me. Here, this is Faneuil Hall, and in front of it is a statue. Can't really see it very well in the dark. It's actually the only thing in this park that's not illuminated really brightly is this statue of Samuel Adams. It says, "A patriot, we organized the revolution and signed the Declaration of Independence." Oh, it says he organized the revolution and signed the Declaration. If you ask me, they could put some light on them in that case. So this is also on the Freedom Trail. Looks closed. Well, as you can see, the Freedom Trail has led us past Faneuil Hall, and now it looks like we're gonna make a block basically around Faneuil Hall. Behind Faneuil Hall is Quincy Market, which is not on the Freedom Trail. It just missed the cut, and there's lots of lights down this pathway. Looks like some kind of seafood place, and there's people hanging out. But I'm gonna keep on the Freedom Trail here. Off we go. Well, we basically have done a full circle around Faneuil Hall, and I did not notice a single interesting thing. As you can see, there's really nothing to look at. The windows are dirty, and there's metal bars making sure people don't fall outside of this place. And there's like little concrete barriers protecting the outside. And so they really should just put a sign that says, "Hey, Freedom Trailers, to the left, you've seen one Faneuil Hall, you've seen them all." Okay. Here's a nice statue of a very angry looking person. He looks like a car just tried to run him over. It's the mayor of Boston from 1968 to 1984, Kevin Hagan White. And looks like people touch his hand. He's so angry. So to be honest, I thought that was the end of the Freedom Trail. So from here on out, your guess is as good as mine. I'm not sure if this is on the Freedom Trail, but it is called Ye Old Union Oyster House, and it was established in 1826, and it looks pretty wicked. That's what Boston people say, wicked. You can see people are eating oysters. Well, I found it. The Freedom Trail has continued this way. Looks like I'm gonna cross this place. These lights are part of the sidewalk in this park. It's kind of an empty park. So this is kind of cool. You can see the Boston skyline from here pretty well. At least this side of it. This looks like some sort of Little Italy. There's lots of Italian looking things. Yeah, see, for instance, Luca, and then Rico, and that one is called Tresca. Very Italian sounding. I am still on the Freedom Trail, but I'm getting suspicious that it's not taking me anywhere useful. It's kind of an interesting street sign. Can't be very accurate. It's a very narrow street. Not a lot of people here. Oh, Boston's best Italian grocery. Quaint. So this really dark place is called the Paul Revere House. And it's built in 1680. And I think it's where Paul Revere lived. I'm gonna go out on the limb. Not much to see. There you can see here the Paul Revere house. Kind of an ugly color. And all the windows are boarded up, pretty much sealed. Well, I'm still on the Freedom Trail here, and it's beginning to feel like a lack of freedom, actually, because it's so long, and there's no clues on how much longer it'll be. So I'm going to keep going, but I'm starting to get a little irritated. Well, we passed his house earlier, but this is a pretty large statue here of Paul Revere. You can barely see it, it's so dark out. But that's him, giant horse. Boston likes these giant horse statues, I guess. So what you're looking at right now is the Old North Church behind a tree. And the Freedom Trail goes right into that gate that is not open. So I'm gonna have to find a way around. And you can see up there, you can kind of see it. There's a steeple. It's a pretty tall church. Anyway, I'll figure it out. As you can see, the streets here are basically a joke. They were obviously made as a joke. The sidewalks are hilariously small. Very funny, Boston. Okay, this is the Old North Church. As it does say Christ Church, 1723. All these churches have red doors. I'm not sure why. This is where Paul Revere apparently lit a lantern that indicated whether or not the British were coming by land or sea. I forget if they came by land or sea. Just a better shot of the steeple of this old church. I'm not sure if this is on the Freedom Trail, but this is Copp's Hill Burying Ground. It's an old cemetery. Burying ground. Kind of spooky. So yeah, we did come from way back there. And we're still following this Freedom Trail as it goes over this bridge now. You can see there is the garden where the Celtics play, and next to it is a very futuristic looking bridge, and out here is the Charles River, which is a river next to Boston, in between Boston and Cambridge. So we just crossed that bridge. It's really long. It's like a 10-minute walk across. And they want to remind you that you're in the right place. Even though up ahead is a gas station. And there's not much historical stuff right here at all, pretty much. There's a Converse building. In case anyone gets distracted by all the brick or the fact that the Freedom Trail could be any one of these brick lines. Thanks sign. Well, as you can see, I've kind of been blocked off from getting close to the US Constitution. It's an old ship. It's on the Freedom Trail. I think that's it. Could be completely wrong, but I'm gonna say that's it. And you can tell it's very tall, and it's a tall ship, and I'm not gonna get there right now. So it's on to Bunker Hill, the last stop. As you can see, that's Bunker Hill right there. Here we have Bunker Hill, the last stop on the Freedom Trail. It's very tall, white thing. There's a guy in front of it. So we're gonna go check that out too. This is a statue of Colonel William Prescott. He's got a nice little sword.
Colonel Prescott.
And he's the guy that's in front of the Bunker Hill Memorial thing. Pretty large memorial. And it is at the top of a hill, so they weren't lying about that. So that's the memorial up close. Just looks like that. And here is the back of the memorial. Has a building here. I wish it was a bathroom, but it's not. So that concludes the tour of Boston, and I think it got interesting, and then it got boring, and then it got more interesting, and then it was boring. And this is definitely the best part of it, this memorial. So I have to say, overall, we did it. Good job to you.